Two local firefighters are being honored for their courage tonight, but these veteran first responders tell me their most precious reward was coming face to face with a real-life miracle.
My baby is in the house, and I'm yelling and screaming and telling them my baby's in the house.
A Saturday night sleepover erupts in a mad panic as an angry blaze invades from next door.
In the process of getting the kids out, I thought my best friend grabbed my baby, and she thought I had the baby. We panicked then. I realized she was still in the house.
Lieutenant Chuck Potts and Miles Dutton go into the dark inferno.
Went in the first bedroom, couldn't find anything.
This fire department, where are you?
10-month-old Caitlin is alone. Flames attack the walls around her. Toxic smoke smothers the air.
The fire had already broken through the roof. It just looked like the whole building was on fire. It was horrible because, you didn't think anybody would still be alive.
I just dropped. I just started praying. I just dropped to my knees.
And that's when I heard a kind of a faint kind of crying sound. And I told my lieutenant, I said, hey, I think somebody's still in here.
How did he hear anything? Surrounded by a thundering blaze, his head covered in layers of gear, the sounds of his own labored breathing filling his mask. But it was that small voice that kept hope alive.
And then we ended up finding the crib. I put my hand down in the crib and I was able to find her legs.
But with the deadly flames circling the crib, is the infant still alive?
When I put her in my arms, she was still breathing.
Breathing, but the rescuers brace as they look for burns.
She didn't have any burns on her whatsoever.
After treatment for minor smoke inhalation, Caitlin is back in her mother's arms. Those who saw the fire used the same word to describe this powerful experience.
Miracle. It is a miracle.
There was somebody else in there with us that had a bigger hand on that situation than us. The good Lord above. I'm a believer, and I think he was in there. I think he had a hand on that little girl's life.
We were just a tool. That's the only other way to explain it. There's no way she should have been alive.
It was God. It's no other way that anybody can tell me that God's not real, because he saved my child with not a burn, not a scratch, not anything.
This thankful mother doesn't realize the men who rescued her daughter have come to join us. I have two gentlemen I'd like for you to meet. This is Lieutenant Chuck Potts and Miles Dutton.
I'm glad she's doing fine.
Yes, she is. Nice to meet you guys. Thank y'all so much. She is doing awesome.
Caitlin is at ease.
I'm glad you was making those sounds right there.
Resting in the arms of the faithful men who answered the call.
God was watching over my child. He saved my child for me.
In Tuscaloosa, I'm Lynn Brooks. He stands alone on a country road. It's scary, but no more lonely than the broken home he left behind. Surely this road would lead to a new life. Finally, a kind stranger brings the youngster aboard.
He had no identification on him at all.
The teenager never says where he's been or where he's going.
He had a pack of cigarettes that had a South Carolina tax stamp. And he had some initials on his arm, looked like he'd done it himself.
Inside his wallet, a girl's picture and these words: "Think of me always and remember how we used to go places together." But just a few miles down the road, the journey takes a tragic turn, off this bridge and into the river.
And he said, we went underwater. And he says, I had a young boy in there with me I had just picked up.
The driver survives. The young hitchhiker does not. His body is taken to the local funeral home. Journalist Jim Oakley is there.
He looked just perfectly like he was asleep.
Estimated at 13 to 16 years old. His fatal injury, a broken neck.
And I stood up on the slab above him. His body was here, and I bent over and made some shots of his headshots.
The enhanced photograph is widely published in hopes of finding a family. For several days, the unknown boy's body was here in the Rocco Funeral Home Chapel. Hundreds of people came from all around. They had seen the media reports, and they were simply curious about this mysterious boy. But one visitor in particular came here several times, all alone, and no one knows why.
I can picture her right now. She was gray-headed, she was a little heavy-set, well in her 60s, and stood there and looked at that body for a good long while. A little bit longer than the average person did.
But the stranger returns a second day.
She stood there again for a good long while, looking at that casket, that boy. She turned around and left and vanished. Nobody ever heard from her again.
A service, mourners, a grave marker, but still no name. Now, more than a half-century later, new technology may have the answer.
I had received a telephone call from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
DNA from the boy's bones will run through a massive database.
30, 40 years ago, they were working with the DNA, but their capabilities then compared to now is so much further.
Will science find what's been hiding here and bring a weary traveler home at last? Lavelle Farms feels like home.
You came out to pick blueberries.
Sally greets you with a warm smile and your own bucket. Their best season in a quarter century, bountiful blueberries create a quiet oasis as the countryside calms your spirit. But for me, it's a wake-up call that I need to learn the berry basics. First, what to look for.
You go with blue. You stick with blue.
And what about the eat-as-you-go method?
But some people do come in heavily grazed.
I'm really filling up my bucket, too. Check that out. Oh, thank you. This is my good friend, Michaela. Pour much into my bucket. She's more of picking. I'm more about snacking. I'm a little bit more about snacking. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. Maybe I should do more eating, less singing.
Loaded with berries, including some actually in the bucket. All we need now, a few good recipes.
How to freeze them and some things that you can make with them.
Or if you're like Sally, you like your blueberries the way you like your friends.
Just the way they are.